They filled their pool with cement for no approval. This family lost $10,000 and sued the HOA. In the sunny, family-friendly neighborhood of Palm Grove, Florida, where summer days were filled with laughter and splashing, the Rodriguez family had created a backyard paradise. Carlos Rodriguez, a 41-year-old contractor, his wife Sofia, a 38-year-old teacher, and their three kids, 13-year-old Diego, 11-year-old Isabella, and 7-year-old Mateo, had built an above-ground pool in their yard in 2024. The pool, a 15-foot wide oasis with a small deck, cost $10,000 and was the heart of their summer. Diego practiced diving, Isabella hosted swim parties, and Mateo learned to swim, his tiny floaties bobbing as he giggled. The family had checked local zoning laws and believed they didn't need HOA approval for an above-ground pool, especially since other neighbors had similar setups. But the Palm Grove Homeowners Association saw the pool as a violation. The HOA president, 58-year-old Geraldine Foster, a realtor with a strict sense of control, had received a complaint from a neighbor who claimed the pool was an eyesore and lowered property values. Geraldine pointed to a bylaw that stated, all structural additions, including pools, must be pre-approved by the HOA. It was a rule inconsistently enforced. Other pools existed without issue, but Geraldine decided the Rodriguez pool was unacceptable, citing its visibility from the street and lack of formal approval, despite the family's compliance with city regulations. In late April 2025, Geraldine sent the Rodriguez family a letter, citing the bylaw and demanding that they remove the pool within 48 hours or face a $3,000 fine for unapproved structure. The letter also warned that failure to comply would result in corrective action by the HOA. Carlos was shocked. They had built the pool a year ago with no complaints, and it was a vital part of their kids' lives. He called Geraldine, explaining that the pool was above ground, compliant with city codes, and offered to submit retroactive paperwork for approval. He even invited her to see how well maintained it was, but Geraldine was unyielding. "It's not approved," she snapped. "Remove it or we will." Carlos planned to appeal the decision at the next HOA meeting, thinking they had time. They didn't. On a swelteringly unbearable Monday morning, while Carlos was at a job site, Sofia was at school, and the kids were with a sitter, a crew of HOA contracted workers arrived with a cement truck. Without warning, they began pouring concrete into the pool, the gray sludge filling the water, covering the blue liner, and spilling over the deck. The pool was destroyed within hours, the cement hardening into a solid block, rendering it unusable. The workers left a notice on the door, a $3,000 fine for the unapproved structure, plus a $1,000 cleanup fee, signed by Geraldine Foster. Sofia came home first, gasping in horror as she saw the concrete-filled pool. She called Carlos, her voice trembling. "They filled our pool with cement, Carlos. It's ruined." Carlos rushed home, his anger boiling as he saw the solidified mess where their pool once stood. Chunks of cement overflowed onto the deck, and the kids' floaties were stuck in the hardened mass. Diego, Isabella, and Mateo arrived, their faces falling as they saw their summer haven destroyed. "My pool!" Mateo cried, clutching his floaties. Carlos filmed the scene, capturing the cement-filled pool, the fine notice, and the kids' tears, and posted it on X with the caption, "The HOA filled our $10,000 pool with cement. Pool cemented." The video went viral, gaining 13 million views in 48 hours, with the hashtag trending nationwide. People were appalled, calling the HOA's actions vindictive and insane. Local news stations in Miami covered the story, interviewing a furious Carlos who said, "This was our kids' joy. They took it away." The reporter also spoke to a contractor who confirmed the $10,000 loss, noting the cost to remove the cement and rebuild. The community rallied behind the Rodriguez family. A neighbor, 40-year-old swim coach Elena Ortiz, organized a protest outside the HOA office, where dozens of residents gathered with pool floaties and signs reading "Pools aren't crimes" and "Stop HOA destruction." Some brought buckets, symbolically scooping air to remove the cement. A GoFundMe page to help the Rodriguez family rebuild raised $9,000 in a week, with donors leaving messages like, "This is outrageous," and "Justice for the Rodriguez." The story caught national attention, with outlets like ABC and the Miami Herald running headlines like HOA fills family pool with cement, costs $10,000, and Florida family fights HOA after pool destruction. The Rodriguez family decided to sue the HOA, determined to hold Geraldine accountable and protect other homeowners. They hired a lawyer, Anna Lopez, who argued that the HOA's actions constituted vandalism, property damage, and emotional distress, and that the pool rule was selectively enforced as other pools were ignored. The lawsuit sought $25,000 in damages, the removal of the fine, and an injunction to allow above-ground pools. The case drew a crowd to the courtroom, with supporters holding pool noodles in solidarity. Anna presented Carlos's video as evidence, along with contractor estimates confirming the $10,000 loss. Sophia took the stand, her voice breaking. "That pool was our kids' happiness. They turned it into a nightmare." Geraldine, representing the HOA, showed no remorse. She claimed the pool rule was meant to protect property values and that the Rodriguez family's non-compliance justified the action. She produced the bylaw and argued that the HOA had the right to enforce its rules, even with extreme measures. The judge, a strict interpreter of HOA contracts, ruled in favor of the HOA, stating that the bylaw was legally binding and the Rodriguez family had been warned. The fine was upheld, and the Rodriguez family was ordered to pay the HOA's legal fees, an additional $7,000 burden. Carlos and Sophia left the courtroom, their kids trailing behind with deflated floaties, the weight of their loss heavy on their shoulders. The ruling sparked outrage online, with number pool cemented trending again, this time with calls for HOA reform. Homeowner advocacy groups and legal experts condemned the decision, arguing that it encouraged destructive overreach. In Palm Grove, Geraldine remained HOA president, issuing new rules banning all above-ground pools, with fines increased to $6,000. The Rodriguez family used the GoFundMe money to remove the cement, but they couldn't afford a new pool, leaving their backyard empty. Mateo stopped asking to swim, his floaties tucked away in a closet. Palm Grove, once a place of summer fun, turned into a battleground, with residents fearing for their own backyard joys under Geraldine's harsh control.